Well, Arsenal is one of those teams that is really going to climax match day 19 of the Premier League season. That marks the end of the first half of the Premier League season. And after that game, there will be one more game played before we get into the FA Cup. And it's really going to get exciting, especially in the second spell of the season, as pressure is really going to be being exerted onto every other team that is in every position. Teams in the top 10 look like each team can qualify for the Champions League. Teams in the bottom half looks like all can really get relegated. So I'm really so much disturbed by my team Manchester United being able to be part of those teams that might be fighting for relegation this season. And I don't know for how long that is going to go, because even today we are playing Newcastle at Old Trafford. I don't know what that was going to be, but I know it's really going to be hard for Man United to collect those 3 points. So welcome to this channel. Smash the like button, comment and share. If you're already watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Rokani David is my name, and hope you guys are really having fun. 30th of it's the 30th of December 2025, meaning that we are left with one day, obviously climax the day of 2024 and head into the year of 2025. And 1st January, that's when the winter transfer window opens up, and lots of stories are really going to be surfacing in here. Remember, we are powered by Mono Gadgets, dealers in brand new phones and brand new laptops. If at all you really want used phones and used laptops, brand new phones and brand new laptops from brand new phones and brand new laptops and used phones and used laptops from the United Kingdom, call them on +256 70 99 88 665, and you will thank me later. You understand? And that is Mono Gadgets for you. The other gadget they have is a smartwatch that you can get at a favorable price. That is a smartwatch that you can get at a favorable price, and that is what we're really getting in through from the side of Mono Gadgets. Now let's get into this game of football. Arsenal comes into this game of football after knowing that Liverpool is now 9 points ahead of them. They are all level, 18 games, and Liverpool yesterday went ahead, obviously annihilate, or they went gung-ho on West Ham by putting 5 goals past them. You understand? 5 goals past them was something that was really unbelievable, but it happened, and it went ahead, obviously, see to it that this team went ahead to see to it that a lot doesn't go its way. That is the side that you're talking about of that is the side that we are talking about of West Ham being annihilated by Liverpool, meaning that Liverpool is now top ahead of Arsenal, and Arsenal know to it that they need to win that game of football. However much they'll be 1 game ahead of Liverpool, but they'll be like, let's obviously gate up and down and see how things are really going to be panning out, because Liverpool, when you look at the Premier League fixture, after playing West Ham, their next fixture, I think it's Manchester United. Yes, I think they are playing Manchester United next. That is on the 5th of January. And Arsenal, let me see, who will Arsenal be? Arsenal would have played Brighton the previous day on the 4th of January, and Liverpool will be playing Man United, at Anfield, and you don't know what will happen, because United looks like a small team. When a small team is playing a big team, they obviously tend to show up, on the day, and you never know what United can do on that day. They might obviously show up and live up to the expectation, and obviously see it that Liverpool drops like 2 points. You understand? So Arsenal knows it that if they win their next 2 games, because Liverpool is 9 points ahead of them, Liverpool will go into the game of Man United when they are 3 points behind Arsenal, meaning that pressure is really going to be huge. If Arsenal win today and they win against Brighton, Arsenal will be 3 points behind Liverpool. You understand? So that is really something for us to note into this fixture that Arsenal is going to be playing tomorrow, and that also adds more beef to why Arsenal has to win the game of football tomorrow at the Gitek Community Stadium that capacitates 17,250 people. That is it. So, let's obviously get into the team news. Arsenal doesn't have Bukayo Saka, they don't have Ben White, they don't have Tomiyasu, and they don't have Raheem Sterling. All those players are really out, but the rest of the players are readily available. When we go to the side of Brentford, they don't have Sepp van Berg, he's having a groin injury. Matthias Jensen is having a thigh injury. Then Igor Thiago is having an injury. Gustavo Nunes is having a back injury. Rico Henry is having an injury. Aaron Haiki is having a thigh injury. Josh Da Silva is having an injury. Christopher Aja is having an ankle injury. And Ethan Pinnock is having a thigh injury. And that's how they... And those are the players they expect to play without. You understand? So, after all that happening that way, you now understand what is really going to be happening onto the side of Brentford. So, however much those players are out, we've gone ahead to say to it that Mbeumo has obviously gone ahead to obviously establish himself this season. And guess what? I don't think they're obviously missing out onto a player called Ivan Toney. You know that very well. Mbeumo, 18 games, 10 goals, and 2 assists. You understand? Even Wissa, you know Wissa very well. I saw him even score during the game they played. I think was it in Boxing Day yesterday. And Wissa has played 15 games. He has gone ahead to score 9 goals and 1 assist, meaning that these two players have gone ahead to obviously fill the void of Ivan Toney in his absentia. And Arsenal has to really look at those players with a keen eye. I tell you, Arsenal has to keep a keen eye onto those players because they are going to come in through and it's not going to be business as usual. It's really going to be tough at the Gitek Stadium, and Arsenal needs to obviously do the needful. Now, let's get into the probable starting 11 for the club of Arsenal and see how Arsenal is obviously going to be looking like. The system is a 4-3-3. That is the system that Arsenal is really going to come up and obviously use. You know, it's a 4-3-3 system for the club of Arsenal. That's known. And then in goal, we all know to it that it's going to be David Raya, obviously. He's going to be in between the stitches for the club of Arsenal, David Raya. Then, after David Raya, we are obviously going to be having, I think, Julian Timber playing onto the right side of the fullback, you know. And left side, I think Lewis Kelly has done enough to obviously earn himself a start into a game of such a huge magnitude because the manager has trusted him in all the games. And ever since Carafiori has been aware of Zinchenko, the manager has played him and he has started him. He has not come off the bench. And even when Carafiori came, I think the previous 2 games, Carafiori has been coming off the bench. And the manager is like, Lewis Kelly all the way. That is what Arsenal is really doing. And they are sending a clear message to Carafiori that you need to work hard to obviously displace this boy from this position. Central defense, you know that very well. Saliba, right-sided centre-back. Gabriel Magalhaes, left-sided centre-back. That is the back 5 for the club of Arsenal. And that's how I really anticipate they're really going to be looking tomorrow night. Then, in the midfield, I think Thomas Partey, who was benched when they are playing against Ipswich, returns into the single pivot. And I think this time around, the manager is really going to change a little bit. I think Declan Rice will obviously be given a go into this game of football to obviously play into that midfield 3 alongside Thomas Partey and the captain Martin Odegaard. You know, I believe that's going to be the midfield 3 because I know he needs some little bit of steel when he's playing Brentford. Brentford is in fine form and they're really winning games for fun. And Arteta knows that this is going to be another London derby that they have to obviously come up and obviously represent. And I don't believe that he'll obviously go with Kai Havertz, Partey, and Odegaard. I see Declan Rice getting back into his spot, you know, and see how things are really going to pan out. But don't be shocked if at all he plays Thomas Partey as a right back, and then he plays Declan Rice as a CDM, and then Kai Havertz and Odegaard. But my mind tells me that it's really going to be hard for him to think that way. But though that is the midfield three for the club of Arsenal into the mix. Now, we go to the front three. Right forward, without Bukayo Saka, obviously it has been Martinelli doing that role. Though for me, I believe it should be Waneri being played into that particular position, because I believe he has all what it takes to really do exactly what is being required onto that side, as most teams play with a left-footed player as a right or the right forward side of the pitch. So that is Gabriel Martinelli for you. He's doing a very good job, and he doesn't really look vintage onto that side, but I know he can really put in a very huge performance. Left forward, it's Leandro Trossard. I believe he's going to be played as a left forward, and who's going to be leading the line? I don't think it's Gabriel Jesus. It's going to be Kai Havertz for starters, because the manager needs to have a little bit of firepower from the bench, and I think with the players he has, it's only Gabriel Jesus and Ethan Waneri that can come off the bench, because the rest of the players, Merino, Jorginho, Carafiori, are not really impact players into the final third of the pitch. So the manager will obviously pay attention to detail and really understand that he has to obviously put in the required shift all together to see to it that all really goes on as planned. So that is my probable starting 11 for the club of Arsenal as they take on the side of Brentford. But I've told you, don't be shocked if at all Lewis Skelly is dropped and Julian Timber is being played on the left back, and then Partey being played as a right back, Declan Rice being played in a CDM alongside Kai Havertz and Odegaard as Gabriel Jesus leads the line. But that will obviously limit his chances of obviously having lots of quality off the bench to obviously come and change the game, meaning that his bench will be thin according to me. Now, when we go to Brentford, we anticipate that, and by the way, this is the first time David Raya is going to be playing against his former team. Last season he couldn't play because he was he was really on a loan, and this time round he's going to be playing against them for the very, very first time. Now, Brentford, Valdimarsson is really going to be playing into the goal area. Then Roslev, Collins, Kim, and Lewis Potter in the defense. Genout, Norgard, and Damsgaard, they're going to be played into a midfield three. Then Mbeumo, Shedi, and Wissa are going to be leading the line. And if at all you know, Wissa and Mbeumo are really going to be running all over the pitch. And all we know is that they are going to surrender what we call possession. After surrendering possession, what they will do will be simple. They'll obviously try to hit Arsenal on the break. But Arsenal is going to be having total control of the game. That is a given in this game, and we all anticipate it that way, and no one really doubts that. So we wait and see how that pans out, but it's really going to be a highly contested game. And you know what I do before I bring you my prediction? It's all about going into what stats Gugu has going to obviously provide to us into this encounter. Now, they've told us that since winning 2-0 against Arsenal in their first ever Premier League game in August 2021, Brentford are winless in their last 5 against the Gunners. 1 draw and 4 losses. I tell you what, the first game when they returned to the Premier League, that was the season of 2021-2022, Brentford beat Arsenal by 2-0 at that Gitech Community Stadium, But right now, they've not gone ahead to beat Arsenal again. 2022, 2023, they never beat them. 2023 to 24, Arsenal has gone ahead, obviously, do justice to them. And this time around, we are going to see whether they can obviously put in a very good shape, a very good exhibition at their stadium. So we wait and see. Secondly, Arsenal have won their last 3 away games against Brentford in all competition without conceding a goal. They last won 4 consecutive away games against an opponent while keeping a clean sheet, each time against Sunderland between 2003 and 2008. So their last 3 games there, I know one has been 1-0, the other one has been 1-0 in the Carabao Cup, and I think last season, was it 3 goals? If at all I'm not mistaken, was it 3? Where Gabriel Jesus would have had to score a very beautiful goal. So all pointers are at Arsenal that they can come up and annihilate this side. 3. In a run stretching back to a 1-1 draw at Chelsea in November, this is Arsenal's 9th consecutively game to be played in London. 5 home and 4 away. It's Ghana's longest such run of the games exclusively in the capital in their league history. And they are not losing games. I tell you this. When they are playing their fellow teams from London, Arsenal looks like they've gone ahead to be the kings of London. That is it. Arsenal are the kings of London. That is it, no doubt. They are the kings of London. And what makes you king of London? It's what you do when you obviously meet your fellow teams that really do the job in London. And Arsenal has proven that they can really do the needful and obviously beat them hands down. So that is exactly what Arsenal is really doing. Fourthly, Brentford have won their first league game in each of the last 5 calendar years. They are also unbeaten in their last 6 played on New Year's Day. 4 wins, 2 draws since the 2 loss of Swansea in 2007. Now, you know what they're doing, and they are really a threat, and no one is really gonna stop them from really getting to where they want to be. And it's all about Arsenal killing off the game. That will obviously give them a very good result. But all positive pointers are on the side of Arsenal. 5. Arsenal have only lost their first league game in one of the last 9 calendars. 6 wins, 2 draws, going down to 1 at home to Man City on New Year's Day in 2022. That is Arsenal for you. Now, I think what Arsenal has to do, they should replicate what they did when they're playing against Crystal Palace away. First and foremost, an early goal is really important. Even when this side of Brentford comes back and really responds, Arsenal has to respond immediately and quickly, like they did when they're playing against Crystal Palace. Every time Crystal Palace looked like they wanted to obviously come close to Arsenal, Arsenal was just extending the lead. And I think that's what exactly the side of Brentford is supposed to be doing right about now. So guys, my prediction, 2-1 win for the club of Arsenal. 2-1 win. I'll be very selfish if at all I don't really give these people a goal because they've been scoring goals for fun. But I see a 2-1 win for the club of Arsenal at the Gite Community Stadium as they take on the side of Brentford. And it's not going to be an easy one, as it has always been. It's not always easy at that stadium. And a derby is always a derby. But I know Arsenal are really going to be doing the needful. And Mbeumo is one of those players that Arsenal is really looking at. And I think he has a chance to obviously showcase to Arsenal that I'm really that guy that you are looking at. You understand? And all is okay. And it's really going to be very important, to see to it that Arsenal puts in the Rokani shift altogether to obviously get these 3 points. And I've shown you why these 3 points are really important. Last time, when Arsenal had to close them down when they never played against Everton because the game was banned due to the snow on the pitch, Arsenal dropped points. Again, Liverpool drew and Arsenal dropped points. Now they have a chance to obviously close down on Liverpool. They are playing 2 games, and they will be 20 games and Liverpool will be at 19. And if at all they win these 2 games, Arsenal will be having will be 3 points behind Liverpool. And Liverpool is going to be playing Manchester United on the 5th of January. A team that has proven that when they're really playing away from home, they, especially playing these big teams, they can obviously put there a very good performance. And Manuel Ugarte and Bruno Fernandes will return because in today's game they're nowhere to be seen, as they really went ahead obviously gate. Bruno got a red card, and Ugarte found himself in a position of really getting what we call a fifth yellow card, and he couldn't obviously make it into the game that United is going to be playing today. And a player that Arsenal is being linked to a lot, that is Marcus Rashford, is back into the squad of Manchester United. I've gone ahead to see him arrive at the Old Trafford Stadium, and the manager is putting him back. And what does that mean? Because if you look at that, you really have to ask yourself that, are United trying to show to it that he's back in the mood such that suitors can come up and obviously increase their interest in him? That is another huge question, and it is waiting for your answer. That is it. So, Rokani David is my name. 2-1 is my prediction. I'm waiting for your predictions into the comment section below. And 30th June 30th December it is, and we are left with one date, obviously climax 2024. Heading to 2025, is this the year Arsenal are really going to be winning the Premier League? All that and more into the comment section below. I'm out.